Welcome to One Girl in All the World, the Buffy the Vampire Slayer rewatch podcast where we recap each episode in order and discuss. I'm Ashley, Buffy super fan.
Kimmy, Buffy, newbie.
You can find us on all major podcast apps, YouTube, and Instagram with new episodes on Tuesdays. All right, so we had that little cliffhanger last week.
I mean, and then we got another one this week. I'll be honest, I've been getting more tempted to
Yes, that's right. I had to remember.
to watch before, but I haven't. I've kept, I've kept it under wraps. So
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're really liking season 4.
I like this so far. It's the best season for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Like,
do people like seasons 1, 2, or 3 better? Like, let's not talk about 5, 6, or 7 right now. Let's just talk about the first 4.
I would say out of the first 4, most people would say season 2 is their favorite.
What, really? People are weird. Okay, whatever.
A lot of people think season 2 is like the best period, but I don't agree. I don't agree.
Yours is season 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
So we're almost there. Yeah. Season 4 is like very different from the other seasons. So
Oh, interesting. I really like it a lot.
it's just lighter. It's a lot lighter than the other seasons.
It's so funny. Also, just like
It is funny.
the stuff going on is interesting. The plot line, the storyline.
Good. All right, good.
Anyway.
Because a lot of people didn't like the initiative storyline.
Oh, I quite like it. I think that's very interesting.
Okay, cool. I'm glad to hear it. All right, so we are talking about the Iron Team today, and that originally aired February 8th, 2000, written by David Fury and directed by James A. Contner. And the synopsis is, Buffy's friends become hurt and concerned when her involvement with Riley and the initiative becomes more intense. Meanwhile, Professor Walsh sends the Slayer on a mission that brings her close to revealing a dangerous secret. All right. So we get it previously on, and we just get basically brought up to date and everything, like about Buffy and Riley, Spike being able to hurt demons, and the chip, and Tara and Willow hanging out.
Tara and Willow hanging out.
Yeah. On the sly, because no one really knows about her. No one knows about Tara. So we're at Xander's, and it's funny, because the way they start it, Willow's like doing a spell, and it turns out she's just wishing for better cards.
For poker, yeah. That was pretty funny. Because it looked like it was going to be leading into something serious, but it was a nice light moment. Oh, what was the question from last week? I forget.
What's in room 314?
What did I answer?
You said a secret lab where they are doing bad things to good demons.
Oh. Okay, I was right about half of it, maybe.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
a secret lab. Okay.
Yes, you're half right. Yeah, so Willow, Xander, and Anya are playing poker. Xander is trying to teach Anya how to play poker.
She's not into it.
Yeah.
She doesn't get it.
She's like, why? Like, why are we just playing for these plastic discs? And this is like interesting because this isn't really a spoiler or whatever. This is just like a personality trait of Anya's that will become very defining for her, is that she really loves like money. She becomes to be like really like into capitalism and money and making money. And I feel like this episode is the first time we see that with like, oh, buy me pretty things, and like, oh, like the idea that once she understands that poker, the chips are supposed to stand for money, she gets more into it. So it's funny that I think this is the first time we kind of see that come out.
So this is like foreshadowing, kind of.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I guess, or like hindsight, I'm like, oh, I can see her like interest in money, like happening here, starting here.
Okay.
And Xander is his next, like
Endeavor
is selling boost bars.
I mean, we were a bartender, we were a pizza delivery person,
construction worker.
oh yeah, I forgot about construction worker.
And now he is selling boost bars. And they're basically like disgusting nutritional bars.
No, this is like the worst job. Like the other jobs are actually jobs, I feel like.
Yeah, because he has to like buy these in advance and then sell them, I'm guessing. Like he has to buy
That sounds like a pyramid scheme, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. He has to buy his inventory and then sell it. And he's trying to like, he's really not excited, but he's hopeful that this will bring in some money. And obviously Buffy's not there. And they're saying, oh yeah, Buffy's not here because she's hanging out with Riley. And I think that the group has some reservations
About
Xander
the
brings it up.
initiative, like not necessarily about Riley, but
Hmm.
just about all the things going on because they don't know enough about it yet, like, which is fair. Like they don't know enough about it yet. And
And
boy,
they
are we gonna
feel,
find some stuff out this episode.
yeah, yeah. And I think they feel like Buffy's kind of jumping in head first with the initiative, and they don't
Yep.
know if it's safe. They don't know what
Yep.
they're like. And Giles had said the same thing at the last episode,
Yep.
end of the last episode. They just want her to be cautious, and she isn't being cautious with them.
No. Because she, like, I feel like if her and Riley were not dating and this came up somehow, she would be more cautious.
Hmm.
But because they're dating, she's feeling safe and secure with him. So she's like, well,
He's
I feel
involved in
safe with
this,
this
so
person, so then this must be okay.
yeah, yeah. So they're a bit concerned about her like
Yeah.
quick involvement with the initiative.
Yeah.
And Willow says, "You know what it's like when you have a spanking new boyfriend?" And Anya
Hmm.
says, "Oh, we've enjoyed spanking."
Yes, and that's not awkward for anybody at all.
And
Awkward.
Xander
Anya
just
has no filter. Yes.
the cards just fly everywhere because he's like, "Oh God, yeah,
He's so embarrassed.
yeah." He's embarrassed. Yeah, and this is not very Anya. She's just saying it. She's just saying it like it is. So in the woods, we see Buffy is basically we find out.
Kicking some commando butt. I was like, what is she doing?
Yeah. So basically, she's training with the commandos. They kind of set up this
But at
like,
first, it just looks like she's beating them up.
yeah, it looks like she's fighting them.
Yeah.
So basically, they're doing like a scenario or like a training thing
Yeah.
to see how she does, and she like takes out
She-
the whole everybody herself.
She like it took 42 minutes for them to track her down, and she neutralized them in seconds. Professor Walsh seems impressed by this, and she
Mhm.
doesn't seem like someone who impresses very easily.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Buffy's doing a good job, and Buffy's kind of like kind of like a golden retriever in this moment. Like, oh, you like me? Oh, like give me praise, and oh, I'm so happy that Maggie likes me.
Yeah, because well, I think it's because she doesn't get praise. Like she's just this like hard to impress person. So when you finally impress her, it's just like, oh, it's a good
Mhm.
feeling.
Yeah. So Buffy and Riley are kind of like being lovey-dovey, and but the reason I bring that up is because Maggie's kind of like watching them.
Yes, she is in
Yeah,
a
from a
weird, creepy
distance.
way.
Yeah, kind of like in a suspicious way, or well, this is going to cause problems way. So then we go to the credits, and we come back. We're in like the student lounge. Buffy and Willow are talking about like their nights. Buffy keeps going on about the scene that we just saw.
Yeah.
And how Walsh is like, yeah, she's just gushing over the attention and kind of the approval that she's getting from Professor Walsh.
And Willow doesn't really have much to say. Like Willow's just, pretty like she has like a normal life, pretty
Yeah.
normal life.
And she feels left out of
She
this
does feel left
situation.
out. And Buffy's not realizing this. And Buffy's just kind of like very
Self-absorbed.
Yeah, she really is. I was disappointed by this scene and like a few scenes later on where Buffy's just totally like, oh, my new boyfriend and oh, the initiative and oh, yay, life. And I mean, that's good for her. I'm happy for her, but like, don't ditch your friends and don't,
Yeah. Buffy is self-involved, and this is
Yeah.
like we're really seeing it here. Yeah, she kind of asked Willow how her night was, and she says, "Oh, it wasn't very exciting. We just, taught Anya how to play poker. Tonight will be good," or something like that. And Buffy looks like she doesn't know what she's talking about, and Willow has to like
remind her.
remind her that they're going to the Bronze tonight.
They're gonna just them, the
Mhm.
old Scooby
Scoobies.
gang.
It's going to the Bronze. And Buffy says, "Yeah, of course. Like I've missed you guys," and that kind of makes Willow feel better, like acknowledging that we haven't been able to spend time together lately and all of this.
Mhm.
So then Buffy sees Riley walk into actually it's in the cafeteria, not the student lounge. Walked into the cafeteria and she's like watching him, and apparently Riley just gets a Twinkie to eat, and Buffy says, "Oh, he's gonna be punished." And then Willow says, "Everybody's getting spanked but me."
Yes. Poor Willow.
Poor Willow. She's the fifth wheel. And then we go to what is now Spike's crypt. So this is this crypt that
Like mausoleum type
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah, this is where they came last episode for the Demon Prince was going to rise.
Right. So
So-
it looks like a good home.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
big.
Yeah.
So Spike is set up home here, and Giles comes to, pay his debt to Spike and give him his
And thank him.
$300.
Yep.
So Spike just, takes the money, starts counting it to make sure he doesn't like stiffed him.
And he had to pause halfway through and restart because he can't hold his attention on more than one thing.
Yeah, because Giles is talking to him. And it's really interesting, the conversation he has, or that Giles tries to have with him, where he says, hey, we just saw like you've been involved in like the right side of the situation several
Yeah.
times now.
Hmm.
Whether you just did it for the love of violence or you did it for money, it's happened, right?
Yep.
And he says that, it's interesting that, now that you can't hurt people, like maybe there is a higher purpose. And Spike, like to this happening to you. And Spike is not listening. Yeah, he's just counting his money. And he's like, "Why are you still here? Can you leave? No, I'm not helping you guys anymore. This is the end of the relationship.
I'm done.
Goodbye. We would get
Yeah.
out of here." It's almost like Giles is trying to recruit Spike, is what it sounds like. Like, or
To be a
he's
Scoopy. I
yeah,
mean, kind of, yeah.
yeah. So I mean, he is a supernatural strength like person, so
Well,
that could
he
be
has a
helpful.
lot of, he has inside knowledge.
That too. He speaks
Yeah.
feral or Farrar or
Maybe he
whatever it
speaks
was.
other languages and
Yeah.
he
So
knows like inner workings and
yeah, but
yeah.
Spike is not interested.
No, he says the honeymoon is over.
Yeah, get out. So at Low House, it looks like Buffy and Riley are like, "Are you ready to do this? I'm ready to do this. We can wait. No, I don't
Are
want
you
to wait."
sure?
Yeah, looks like they're gonna like
As if they're
bone.
gonna have sex.
Yes,
But they'll just
and
take the elevator down to the initiative.
yeah, so Buffy's actually just going into the initiative, and she
Mhm.
gets her like eye scanned, and it says new retinal scan, Buffy Summers, comma Buffy or whatever. Buffy goes down and she sees the initiative for the first time, and she is like very impressed and very wowed by like
It's
the
huge.
size of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Walsh comes up and sees her, and Buffy doesn't know what to say. She's like, "It's very clean." And Walsh gives her some literature to read that she can't take home because it's classified, and when she's done, she'll have to eat the pages.
And she's like, wow, I can actually joke sometimes too.
Yeah, I like when she looks at Riley, and Riley's like, she's joking. And then Maggie says, "Don't worry, it doesn't happen often," because she knows like she's not good at it.
No. Yeah.
So they look down in what they call the pit, which is like that big tinfoil hole where they have like gurneys and stuff. And we see Dr. Engelman, who's like the head like doctor there. And he waves. And they're working on these demons down there. And Riley notes that it took like 9 of them to 9 of the commandos to like subdue them. So that's important for later. And she explains to them, like Buffy doesn't already know this, about the behavior modification stuff they're doing. And Buffy kind of slips and says, "Oh yeah, I know." And they're like, "How do you know?" And she doesn't give Spike away.
No, I think that's, yeah. So that's good. She talks about the Discovery Channel.
Yeah, she doesn't tell anybody
about sharks or something.
She doesn't tell Riley, "Hey, you're probably looking for Spike, and I know where he is," and all this. So she doesn't. She just kind of leaves him alone.
Mm-hmm.
And Buffy, they go on to like the armory and shows her all this like technology. Buffy asks about this comm cam, so it's like a little earpiece that has a camera, so they can communicate real time, and that the initiative can see.
It tracks your heart rate, which is kind of cool.
And it tracks your heart rate. And like when Buffy says, "What is this?" and she's about $20,000. That's what that is. Put that down. Buffy sees the restricted, like where room 314 is, and says, "Oh, what's that back there?" And Maggie just says, "Oh, that's just a restricted research
area."
Mm-hmm. And she gives Buffy a beeper. When Buffy says, "Oh, I've been thinking about getting one of these." Buffy's had a beeper, everybody. Remember? Yeah.
But Professor Walsh is like, nobody gets this number but us.
Yeah.
So.
Buffy's like, "Man.
Work pager only, people."
Yeah, work pager only. So in the student lounge, Willow and Tara are meeting up again, and they're talking about the doll's eye crystal.
Oh, doll's eye? Okay.
Yeah, doll's eye crystal. She has a doll's eye crystal that is Tara's. She said it was her grandmother's, and then she found it in the attic. And so I looked up like what's a doll eye crystal and like what would it, be used for in witchcraft. So it's a labradorite is like the actual name of that kind of stone.
Okay.
It's a crystal that is used for magic for manifestation, protection, and scrying. Okay, so scrying is a divination practice involved gazing into a medium like a crystal ball or mirror to receive visions or messages. Okay, I was wrong. So that's interesting. So, and it says it is associated with the divine feminine, and is considered a power stone that can help people see through illusions and determine the true nature of their dreams and goals. I thought that was interesting. Because they didn't just obviously pick that for no reason. So I like that it's like the feminine thing, and there's like the 2 women, and everything that she offers it to Willow to have.
Yeah, but Willow's like, "Oh, I can't take it. This is like a family heirloom, basically.
Yeah, and I think everything that it does is like protection and like good things. So she wants Willow to have all these things. It's not like, hey, you can like do something nasty with this crystal. Like it's all like good vibes with this crystal,
White
basically.
magic.
She wants to give Willow the ability to like protect herself and this all this stuff. So I thought that was interesting. That an interesting choice there.
And then she offers to hang out with Willow tonight, but so I didn't like this scene. Willow's busy and she's just like she doesn't invite Tara. But
Hmm.
I guess we figured out later on it's just because Willow thought it was just gonna be the Scoobies. So she wasn't trying to be mean or anything like that, but she just thought it was only gonna be them. So I get it, but still I
Yeah,
thought
and
the scene
Tara,
made me a little sad because it made her feel left out.
yeah, and Tara is like, oh, okay, okay, like definitely felt like the
Yep.
rejection of not being
Yeah.
invited to this whatever it is.
hmm And Willow could have said like, "Hey, it's like some old friends, and like we're just having like a friend thing." I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Whatever.
Yeah, I feel like any way you say it, it's like you're not invited. So,
Yeah,
you
I feel
know,
like she could have explained though. I don't
maybe.
know.
Yeah, for sure. So at the initiative, Maggie goes back into the restricted research area to room 314, and we see
Room
Yeah,
314.
and Dr. Engelman is in there. And he starts talking about how, well, they start having a conversation about they're concerned about Buffy, the influence she's having on Riley.
Yeah,
And, like, we might have to do something about her. And then in the middle of the episode, randomly, Adam is revealed.
yeah.
So there's this
He's like part man, part demon.
yeah, like Frankenstein's
I
monster
don't
type of
really get
situation.
it.
He's like
Yeah,
stitched all together, different
looks
skins, like
weird.
part
And
human,
they don't
obviously.
explain it or anything.
No, she just says like almost like time to wake up, Adam, and that's what she looks at him. Obviously, like Adam is in the Bible, like first man. So I
Mhm.
think he's named Adam because he's like the first of his kind, basically.
Oh,
That's what
okay,
I'm
interesting. Yeah.
guessing. Yeah, so he's
Hmm.
sleeping, appears to be sleeping, so we don't know what that
Okay.
is about. But obviously, he's being kept under wraps. At the Bronze, Willow, Xander, and Anya are hanging out. Just the three of them because Buffy is almost an hour late.
Now, when Anya's complaining that Xander's ignoring her to peddle his processed food bars, and this is when, yeah, she was talking about, he's like, yes, I sell them to buy you nice things and take you places. And she's like, oh, okay, go, go.
Yeah,
Come
yeah.
on then.
Oh, okay. I'm seeing the connection here. This gives you money to like get, and I get the benefits of that. So Buffy does end up showing up late, but with Riley and crew. So like
Yeah,
a
what
bunch of
the
the initiative
heck?
guys.
They just come in and they're all like having fun. And I see Willow's face and I'm like, oh,
Yeah, and Xander too is like,
yeah, what the heck? Like, I mean, that's not cool. And Buffy's all
yeah.
like, oh, sorry, I'm late. And they were just throwing me a celebration party, so I couldn't not invite them. And I'm like, yeah, you could have not invited them. It would have been pretty easy. You could have been like, hey, cool, thank you. Gotta go, bye.
I have plans. Yeah, I have
I
to meet
have
people.
something else. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. And then Willow says, like you said before, that I didn't know it was like an open call type of thing because I could
Yep.
have invited someone.
And then Buffy's like, oh, who?
Yeah, Buffy does apologize first. We have to give her the credit
She
there.
does. Yeah,
She's
that's
like,
fine.
so
But she
sorry,
still
sorry.
seems very self-absorbed while she's doing all of
Oh
this.
no, she is. Yeah, for sure.
Ugh.
And she says, "Who did you want to invite?" And she's like, "Oh, it's a hypothetical someone." So she definitely doesn't even want to say, "I have a friend named Tara." Like, what's the thing about that? Like, what's the big deal? So she doesn't want to even talk about her like she's a real
Yeah,
person.
weird. She doesn't want the groups to clash yet. I'm
Yeah.
curious to know why that is.
And then Willow does warn Buffy about the initiative again,
Yeah,
and we know that they all know about this 314 because uh, Ethan told them about it. So
right.
Willow knows about it, Xander knows about it, Giles knows about it, whatever. And so she just, you know, wants her to be careful. And she makes
Yeah,
it clear she's not talking about Riley. She's talking about the initiative.
yeah. Because I mean, they don't know their end goal. Like, what happens to the demons? Which is a fair question.
Hmm.
Like, we know that they did implant Spike with that thingy, but like, what happened to the other demons after that happened? Like,
Yeah.
obviously, I don't think their intention is to rehabilitate them into society.
No,
So,
no. Because Spike escaped and they're trying to get
yes,
him back.
exactly. Yep.
So,
Why is that?
yeah, what's the end game here?
Yep.
And she does remind her of what was that 314 about? Like, you have to,
hmm
like, we don't know what that's about.
Yeah.
And they don't get much farther than that because Buffy's beeper goes off
All
and
the guys' beepers go over. Yeah,
everyone goes off and they're like, oh, we have to go. But the weird thing is, I don't know if this is like because Riley's code name or whatever is Lilac.
I
And
forgot.
he comes up to her and says, Mother wants us.
Ew. I missed that. I totally missed that. That's
So I
gross.
don't know if that's Maggie's code name. I'm guessing it
Oh.
is. But
Oh,
it's kind of a
okay.
little bit weird. He says that.
I mean, it's even weirder now that I know what happens in the rest of the episode.
Hmm. Yeah. Mother wants us. Ew. So at the initiative, they are kind of having a powwow about what the mission is.
Hmm.
And Maggie tells them it's a capture, not kill for this demon. And the demon, when it's kind of engaged in combat, has bone skewers that like shoot out of its like wrists.
Hmm.
And
It
they want,
stays attached.
yeah, yeah. It's like a big sword just comes out of their arm,
Yeah,
essentially.
it's weird.
And that they want make sure that when you capture this, that the arms are not damaged for that reason, because they want to research that anatomy of that demon. And Buffy keeps asking a lot of questions, which is not like a military thing. Like you don't ask questions. So Buffy keeps asking about what does it want? Like, does it have any special this or that? And they're kind of like weirded out and like frustrated that she keeps asking all these questions.
Which is like, so it makes me think that all of the initiative dudes just go into this blind. They're just like, cool, whatever. They're just mindless little lemmings that just do whatever they're told.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Seems like that's so weird to me.
Yeah, and that's not Buffy's style, obviously.
I mean, it shouldn't be anyone's style.
Yeah, yeah. So they tell Buffy maybe she should change.
Oh yeah, she's like, oh, that's okay. I patrolled in this halter top many times.
The way she says it to you like that, many times. She said that would be like Private Benjamin, V2 Private Benjamin, which is a 1980 movie with Goldie Hawn. And and she's this bright pink halter on, barely there halter.
Yeah,
Like you feel like if you're
really
fighting, it would just fly off, her boobs would fly everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's like not fighty at all. But yeah, she's just So don't worry, I've patrolled this halter many times. It's okay. And then it's funny because I like how they stay on Maggie, and so like okay, like that's it. All right, let's go. And then she's like, "Yes, Buffy." Like, okay, Buffy has another question. I love that. So at Tara's, Willow leaves the bronze, obviously, and then goes to hang out with Tara and says, "Hey, my plans kind of fell through. Do you still want to hang out?" And she says, "Yeah." So she's at
Well,
Tara's.
that's good. Good for Willow, because Tara could have been like, no.
I know. Oh, well, now your plans fell through, so now I'm like
I'm second choice.
sloppy seconds now.
Damn.
Yeah, but she isn't. She's happy to see her and lets her in.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. In the woods, Buffy and Riley are, air quotes, patrolling. I don't know if you can call that if it's the initiatives with them, but they're patrolling.
Buffy like has a lot of questions.
Mm-hmm.
She does get a lot of questions.
She kind of realizes, like, oh, did I, like, step in it? Because I was asking so many questions.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And she's like, maybe I should get but Maggie a gift. Like, she's, like, very, like, wants Maggie's approval. Like, thirsty for it. And Riley's like, you know what? I actually need to like concentrate because we're like hunting for a demon. And Buffy's like, oh, okay. Because Buffy just like chit chats, through patrol, like whatever, until something jumps out at her, or she gets like the tinglies or whatever.
And he has to focus.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go over to like Forrest and the other guys, and Forrest is butthurt that Buffy is now second in command. That was so funny to me.
Yeah. And Graham's like, hey, well, he gave you your own like group.
Yeah.
So. And one thing I wanted to say that I thought was funny before Buffy and Riley, before we left Buffy and Riley, was Riley's trying to reassure her that Walsh likes her. He's like, she liked you before I did. And then at the end, Buffy comes back. She's like, what do you mean she liked me before you did? Did you not like me?
That's funny.
She didn't let that one slide.
I go back to like the first time they met and how that was a funny scene.
She's peculiar. So Forrest and Graham are in their own group looking for this demon, and they end up seeing Spike walking home from the grocery store.
Yeah. So they're like, great, let's go get him.
Yeah. And they fight him. He manages to get the commandos off of him.
Spike's reflexes are so fast. Like he's just walking along with his little grocery bag, and like, I don't know, he must have heard like a snap behind him or something, because they're about to get him with a net, and he like just sidestep. That was very impressive. He just sidesteps it and then like gets away. I was like, damn. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And somehow his chip is not an issue in the scene for some reason. But because he manages to like inflict some pain.
You're right.
Like, he throws his groceries at somebody, which could be iffy. But then there was the other one where I think he throws one against kind of inadvertently throws one against the the tree and his chip doesn't go
Right.
off.
Okay.
Whatever. But before he runs away, they do shoot him in the back with something.
Yep.
But he does get away. So the Forrest tries to talk on the walkie-talkie or whatever it is to Riley, but he can't get a good signal. It's kind of like all jarbled and stuff. So he doesn't know we possible 17's here. But the demon attacks them, Buffy and Riley's group. And so we get this like back and forth between this scene and a later scene.
The scene is so terrible.
Cringe.
Absolutely terrible.
It's a very cringe sex scene.
And I had to watch it. You and I watched this episode together, and then I had to watch it again because I had to make notes. And when I was watching the scene again, I was like, ugh.
Yeah, this is not hot. No. So it goes between them fighting that demon and them like pre-gaming sex, basically.
Which I feel like it could have been a good opportunity to have a scene like this because, like, you have those same kind of emotions, that adrenaline's running through you.
That's what Faith says, right?
Yes, but then they did a terrible job. So anyway,
it didn't execute well.
Nope. Their acting in the sex scene was just awful.
Yeah,
like their facial expressions, like even the way they position themselves. Yeah. Like I was just like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Like when she's kissing his chest, his arms are like out like this.
Yeah, like straight out. Like what? No.
And then she like kisses his like finger. He takes her boot off. This is weird too. Like
it's so weird. And then there's a scene where he's like behind her and kissing her, and her face is like, I don't know. I was just like, no, these are all awkward, horrible positions. This is not real.
This is not good chemistry, I gotta say, in this moment. So it goes back and forth of them doing it and fighting this demon. So they are able to capture that demon that they were looking for.
Got it. Yeah, she didn't kill it.
And she's like, so now what do you want to do? And obviously they go home and do it. And
then while they're doing it, you see like the scene is panning out because Professor Walsh is watching them on a camera. What the fuck?
Yeah, she has a camera in Riley's bedroom.
That is just so super creepy and gross.
Yeah.
And now that I didn't even catch that he called her mother, I'm just like
your face. Sus. Yeah, so I put like cringe, so and we have to point out Riley has red sheets.
Oh yeah, that's right. The third time. I totally didn't get to that. So obviously somebody put thought into that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Red sheets again. These men in their red sheets.
I have questions about Professor Walsh. Does she like Riley? Does she want him? Like I don't understand. Their relationship is so weird.
It is weird. I would say no. I think she has a weird possessive mother-son creepy mother-son relationship with him.
Like flowers in the attic? Creepy?
But doesn't want to bone him.
Okay.
But that would be,
wants to watch him bone other people?
She wants to keep an eye on him. I don't think she's like necessarily wants to watch him have sex with people, but she is. But in my mind, I feel like it's a control thing. She sees that Buffy and Riley are progressing more, like they've taken this step, and so like he's going to be more involved with her, and her influence over him will be greater. That's what she thinks, and she doesn't like that. And
she'll have less influence over him.
Yes. So I don't think she needs to be sitting there with her coffee, drinking, watching the entire session, but she could have been like, oh no, that's not good. Okay, I'm not going to watch it. I know they've done it, and then that's a problem for me. But yeah, she just sits there back with her hot cocoa and watches the
whole scene.
Free cable porn. Which is actually a quote from season 6.
Oh, no way. Interesting. Okay.
Yes, season 6. Yeah, so it's very, very creepy. Agreed.
Okay.
So I like the scene at Giles.
This is such a good scene.
Xander and Anya are there, and Xander is trying to sell one of his, more if he will take them, Boost bars to Giles. Mm-hmm. He started telling about all the flavors and all this, and eventually
Giles does try one.
She's like, okay, fine. Like, just so you will shut up, I will buy one of your bars. And he bites into the maple something flavor, and he's like, please leave my home now. Because it's so disgusting. So I love it.
Protein bars aren't great.
All right.
And then who knocks at the door with Spike?
Yeah, Spike comes barging in with his blanket.
And then Xander's like, Spike, you want to give up these morning jogs. That made me laugh so hard.
Yeah, that was great. And then they're like, what are you doing here? What do you want? And he's like, the commandos are after me. They shot me. Like, you guys gotta help me.
Now Giles is like, oh, but you said you didn't want anything to do with us anymore, so
Yeah, I like what Xander says. He said that? That hurts. Like, Spike doesn't want anything. No, we don't want anything to do with you. Like,
no.
how dare you say you don't want anything to do with us? That's
Spike's
hurtful.
like, you guys are the goody good guys. And Giles is like, yes, we do things out of the kindness of our hearts, unlike you, who
Yeah.
does it out of the kindness of what? And Spike is like, oh.
Yeah. He's like, what? Did you do out of the kindness of your heart? Of when I helped you with that feral demon? He's like, no, I made you pay. I made... He like let him write to like, oh yes, I made you pay me.
Yeah. Yeah. He gets his money back.
Fine. He gives whatever's left because Spike got smokes and blood. That guy, obviously the command, he didn't keep them because the commandos attacked him. So he's like, this is all that's left. He gives it to them and he's like, oh, okay, just help me. So they actually agree to help him.
I feel like this is gonna be the start of something.
Okay.
I think this is gonna be like, I mean, Spike's gonna be one of the Scoobies now. I don't know. This is something.
He's definitely getting entwined in their stuff.
So I feel like it's gonna just continue on. Like he's not as much of a jerk as he was. So or he can't be as much of a jerk as he wants to be.
Yeah, he can't. So in Riley's room, Buffy wakes up and is like, I think scared.
Of course she is. Of course she is.
Yeah, that nobody will be there. But Riley's there next to her. So he's like, what? You didn't expect me to be here? She might have been like, no, I didn't. Because that never happens to me.
Exactly.
Yeah, so third time's a charm. The guy is there in the morning. And they kind of like, whatever, like, hi, we did it. And then Riley his alarm goes off for him to take his vitamins.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like, are we going to go back to this at some point?
Yeah.
Are these like, okay, they're like mind controlling vitamins or something like that?
It's military issued vitamins. We'll say that.
Okay. Because like I found that very, like it stuck with me.
Yeah. It seemed like, okay, that's their,
why would you set an alarm to take vitamins?
Yeah.
So very important vitamins. Okay. So I'm curious to see what we learn about that.
Yeah. And because that brings up the initiative, Buffy starts asking questions, which is good. She's like, there's some things I want to like ask. Have you heard about room 314?
She's like, why aren't you more curious?
Yeah. Like, he's like, yeah, I don't ask questions. And she's like, okay, well,
weirdo.
I have questions. And then of course Walsh calls and says that she needs Riley. So, and remember that Maggie's probably listening in on this whole conversation.
Yep, exactly.
And probably calls to stop this conversation as well.
Yep. Also, like, I'm wondering if it was like almost like a test. Like he's in bed with Buffy right now. Like, will he get up and go? And he does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he does. So at the initiative, Riley is actually looking through the window of the restricted research area. That's what she called it.
And he sees 314.
And does he?
I think so, yeah.
I don't remember.
I wrote RC's restricted area 314. Like
I know he's looking through the first window, but I didn't know if he saw the actual room.
I think he can see the actual room.
Okay,
and
cool.
I think there was some sort of recognition in his eyes, like, oh, interesting.
That's weird. Buffy just brought that up this morning. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then Walsh does come in and says, while you were gone doing the other thing, I suspended the search for Hostel 17 until you got here. So now you need to go look for Hostel 17. And then after Riley leaves, Walsh goes back into room 314 and Dr. Engelman is there. And she basically says, Buffy's got to go.
We got to cut her loose.
And Dr. Engelman says, Agent Finn will take it hard. And she says that's why we have to do it sooner rather than later, because he is getting more attached to her. And then he puts that demon that they caught is in there. And he has
the one with the
removed the arm and is putting it on Adam.
Yeah. This is like I don't like this. I don't like this 314 stuff. It made me feel like it made me think of animal experiments and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It just made me sad. I know they're demons, but
yeah.
I don't know.
So they're piecemealing like demon parts to this person, air quotes.
Yep.
So back at Giles is trying to take the tracer out of, or the whatever they shot into him out of Spike.
I think it's a tracer, and it's but it's embedded. Like it's in there.
It's really deep, so he's having a hard time with it. Yeah. It's in too deep, but they can kind of see it and remember.
Like blinking.
Yeah, it's blinking. Yeah, and sees it and says, "Oh, that's a honing beacon," because he remembers from his very useful Halloween episode where he can, for a couple seasons now, he just can throw out some of this knowledge that he remembers from being a
They set
military
that up
person,
quite nicely.
soldier for one night. Yeah. So it's like it's a homing beacon, which means that if they're looking for you, they're coming here. They're after you. So at Buffy and Willow's dorm, Buffy shows up, obviously stayed out all night, and Willow comes in, also obviously had stayed out all night.
Both beds are too neat and tidy for people who've been home.
They just walk in. And we notice that, so they don't say it, but Willow walks in with the crystal and puts it on the counter, like on the dresser. So she did accept the crystal from Tara.
Yeah. And so, okay. Willow's like, oh, you were out all night. And Buffy's like, yeah, you too. And then nobody asks anything. Really.
Yeah. You think they'd be like, what? Like,
well, especially Buffy. Like, at least Willow knows what, like, I mean, Willow can assume Buffy was probably with Riley, but Buffy doesn't know anything about Willow right now. Like, why is she not more curious?
Because she's too wrapped up in her own shit. That's why.
Yeah. She apologizes for bailing, so at least there's that. But then her pager just goes off again and she bails yet again.
And she's like, yeah, bye.
I'm not a huge fan of Buffy this episode.
Yeah. She needs to get her priorities in order here.
Mm-hmm.
Giles calls and she says, oh, Buffy just left, but he's like, I'm actually need your help.
That is nice. I like that.
Yeah. So at the initiative, while Riley's off, he's gone looking for Spike. In the initiative, Walsh sends Buffy on a easy recon mission.
A class 3, which could be a raccoon.
Yeah, very low, risk or low danger. And she says, I kind of feel bad even asking you. It's a waste of, Slayer talents, but everyone's gone. And she says, no, it's fine. I'll do it. She gives her that cam so she can communicate with her, see what she's seeing, and then obviously the heart monitoring as well.
Yeah. And she specifically says, I don't want to put you in any unnecessary danger.
Yeah. She's laying it on thick.
Lies.
Yeah. And Buffy says she has some questions. She's like, I still have some questions about all of this. And Maggie says, when you get back, we'll talk about that. No problem. And Buffy's okay.
Yeah,
and heads off. So at Giles, Willow arrives and he says, we need you to do an I can't ever say that word. Ionization spell to disrupt the signal of the honing thing so that they can have more time to
like the James the Tracker, basically.
Yeah. Yep. Again, going out of their way, really, to help Spike. For why? I don't know.
Because they're the goody good guys.
The goody good guys. And I think that the initiative is still unknown quantity, so they don't know what they would do to Spike. They still have, I guess even with demons, they have standards as far as treatment.
Well, and I feel like Spike is at least a known
quantity.
Quantity. I was like, I don't know what word I want to use here, but the initiative is not. So I feel like they're better off just trying to help him rather than let him go off with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they're gonna try to help him. And so the Riley and his group are walking down the street. They're actually at this point, I think they're in the woods, and they can't find the signal.
It's like the tracer's acting weird.
Yeah. Okay, first let's go back for a second. So Willow does the spell, and she's like, you think it worked? And the lights flash, and all their hair is standing on edge.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That was funny.
If I had written this episode, the one thing I would have added would have been Spike popping his head up saying something, and his little blonde hair would have been stuck up. Because he's not in the shot, and I think it would have been funny if he had just popped his head up and said something, and that would have been so funny. That would have been so funny. So Riley and the group are in the woods trying to find it. It's not working out. They kind of tell it's in the neighborhood. It's in the neighborhood, but they can't really tell where. And so they are going to change into street clothes, out of the commando stuff, and blend in while they're trying to figure out the signal.
Yeah.
In the sewers, Buffy's searching for the demons. And we forgot to mention that Maggie also gives her this high-tech gun. Gun, thing.
Mm-hmm.
So she's going through the sewers, and she sees the demons pretty quickly and says, okay, I've confirmed, and you see them, I've confirmed that they're there, definitely not a raccoon. And then she sees them, and she has a flashback to that they are the demons that were on the gurneys when she first walked into the thing. And
interesting.
Mm-hmm, into the initiative. And there was a line Maggie said, pretty soon they will be under our control. Okay. All right. So Buffy tries to shoot them, and the gun malfunctions. It like
Of course it does.
short circuits.
Yep.
And then she goes to leave, turns to leave, and the
And the
gate, like a
sewer
gate,
door
yeah, like a gate
closes.
closes, like it's a
Yep.
cage. And so she has no choice but to start fighting them. So she starts fighting them. And Walsh is watching with her coffee
Yeah,
on the
and she can
screen.
hear Buffy, and Buffy's trying
Mm.
to ask for help, and she just stays silent.
Yeah, and then she keeps watching, and then you see like the heart rate thing like fail, like it just
Yeah. Yeah.
flat lines. So outside slash at Giles's place, they get the tracker out, and Xander rushes to the bathroom to flush it.
Yeah. Smart.
And then outside, Riley's team's walking down the street, and they can't find it. They can't find it. And they're like, "Oh, it's on the move. Okay, it's on the move because the spell is done. Like, we got away from the spell." So he's like, it's coming right towards us, and they're in the broad daylight. They can't see
Hmm.
anything coming at them, and it like passes them, and they're like, "What the hell?" And then he realizes that it's in a pipe, so it's
Yeah.
going underneath them in
So
a
they
pipe.
figured out what happened.
It's been
Yeah.
flushed. Yeah. In the sewers, we see Buffy is still fighting, and
Yeah.
obviously she didn't die. And
No, I called that actually. I was like, oh, I think that thing just fell off. That headset
yeah,
just
I
fell off of
mean,
her.
yeah, she's not gonna die in the middle of a season, like randomly.
Nope.
And she does like kill one of them,
She
but
knocks one of them out. Yeah.
blunt force or however she does that. And then the other one's standing in like a puddle of water, so she throws that short circuiting weapon
Faulty. No,
in
yeah.
there in the water and electrocutes him. She's a good
Nice.
thinks quickly in those situations.
Yeah.
So at the initiative, Riley comes back to say, "Hey, we couldn't get House 17. He's still on the loose, so we failed." And she just goes right to saying, like, "Riley, something happened. I sent Buffy on a mission. I didn't think it was a big deal." She's kind of like really
Well,
selling this.
she said she's like, oh, I tried to stop her basically.
Yeah,
She's
she
like,
wanted to go alone.
Buffy wanted to go. She had to do this thing, and I tried stopping her.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm like, yeah,
She
fine.
insisted on going alone, that she could handle it.
Ugh.
And she's dead, Riley. And Riley's like, "What? Like, what are you talking about? How did this happen?" And she's like, "I'm so sorry." And he's like, "What?" And then I love we have like the TVs behind her, behind Maggie's shoulder. And Buffy picks up the comm cam and like talks into it. And so we can
She's like,
see that she's alive.
no, it wasn't a raccoon.
Yeah, it wasn't a raccoon. And she knows that she was sent there and to be trapped and killed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And basically threatens Maggie that, you don't know what you're dealing with and you don't know what a Slayer is, but
You're gonna find
gonna
out.
find out. And then she like,
Damn.
destroys it. Destroys the $20,000 comm cam. And Riley's like, "Whoa, this is a lot." She's dead, now she's alive, and then Maggie tried to like kill her, and
Yep. I mean, he can tell that Maggie did try to kill her
yeah.
from this scene. So,
So he just starts walking away from her.
and
He just,
she calls after him. This is why I was like, this scene when the way she calls after him, I'm like, does she like him? Like him?
no, I
I
think
don't
she
know.
does love him,
Yeah, but like in a
but
weird, creepy way, more than motherly. I don't know.
in
Anyway.
a weird like, it's definitely a motherly way, but it's like a complete control way, like a military mom thing. Like it's weird. Um, she calls for him like, "Please stop, whatever," and then she tries to pull rank, and she says like
Yeah.
it's an order to stop. He doesn't.
No.
So he keeps leaving, and she's just like yell. She doesn't even care. Like, she's like yelling in front of everybody for him.
Hmm.
But he leaves. So back at Giles, Spike is like getting back himself back together, and Giles is like, "I don't know why I'm like trying to help you and tell you this, but you need to leave Sunnydale because like they're gonna keep coming after you.
Yeah, it's not safe.
It's not safe for you." And Spike says, "I'm not leaving until they fix me." And Xander says, "Oh, you should really just sit down and explain to them. I really miss maiming and killing innocent people." And Spike says, "Do you think that would work?" Yeah, so he's like, "I'm not going anywhere because this is the only like cure for me is here that I have to figure it out." And then Buffy comes in and says, "It's not safe for any of us here with initiative."
Hmm.
So the sheen has come off the initiative in a big way.
Yeah, and so this right here was a bit of a cliffhanger because like the Buffy just had the carpet pulled out from under her.
Mhm.
Yes, that expression. Riley too. So
Mhm.
Buffy's like, we're about to have I mean, not till next episode, obviously, but we're about to see a conversation between Buffy and Scooby's in the initiative. So I'm very curious to see what happens there.
Mhm. And before we do that, we go to room 314,
Hmm.
where Maggie, it's not even like Maggie was like, oh shit, I've really like messed up. Like, what am I thinking? What am I doing? But she just doubles down on it basically. She goes into room 314, is like kind of talking to herself. She's like, okay, she's kind of talking to Adam, but Adam's not like conscious. And she's saying, you know, if she wants a fight, we'll give her one. And basically, like, she's going to like use Adam against her, is what we
And she's
see.
like, Riley will come around once Buffy's gone.
Yeah, once you like actually kill his girlfriend, he's gonna come
Oh my
around.
God. Yeah, that totally seems like what's gonna happen considering what
Hmm.
just happened. But yeah,
Yeah.
you keep being delusional.
Hmm.
That's fine.
Yes. So she has like her back to Adam, and then she says like, "Oh, when she least expects it," is what the words she's saying, and then that skewer, bone skewer, like comes through her chest,
Yep.
and she looks over her shoulder, and it's Adam. Adam is awake. He's up, and he has just killed Maggie.
Yep.
And then so she falls to the ground, and it ends with him saying, "Mommy." Yeah. So Adam is free to a degree, and he has killed his master, his maker. So we'll see what happens. Yeah,
Okay. Very interesting episode.
yeah, a lot. I actually was surprised that, like, remembering that they revealed Adam in the middle of the episode.
Yeah.
You know, like I thought, like we would get them showing his face at the end of this episode, and then maybe he killed Maggie at the end of the next episode. But
No.
they're getting things going here, which is good.
Yeah.
So
I
my
mean, yeah,
favorite quote.
we're
Oh,
like more than halfway through the season,
yep,
right? Yeah.
we've crested the hill now.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
is 13. All right, so my favorite quote was, "If you think that's enough to kill me, you really don't know what a slayer is. Trust me when I say you're going to find out." Which is what
Good
he says to
quote.
Walsh, yeah. And then that was my favorite scene too, when Buffy confronts Walsh and like Riley's there and everything. That scene was really cool because Buffy has been very, when it comes to like the evil fighting and stuff, she's been very like lighthearted pretty much in this season. This is like the like hardest we've seen her. Like she is like, you did not, you fucked around, you're gonna find out now.
Yeah.
Like she is serious in this scene. So I picked that scene as well.
Okay. That was a good scene. Okay. Sorry, my favorite quotes are not
It's okay.
super serious. Tie between two.
Okay.
Yes, we've enjoyed spanking.
Yeah.
And then the one where Willow was like, what she said, everyone's getting spanked with me.
Yeah. Okay, the spanking theme. Okay,
I
yeah.
mean,
That was
yes.
those were two
I
great.
couldn't help it. Yeah, those are
Those
just so
were
funny.
those are two great lines.
And my favorite scene was actually like when Spike comes to Giles' house to get help and just that whole conversation about out of the goodness of your heart.
The goody good
So the goody
guys.
goods, yeah, I really like that. So that was cute. Yeah.
Yeah, the morning jogs. That was like yeah,
Yes,
also a good
that was
one.
so funny. Yeah.
Yeah, all that was a great scene. I love that scene. Okay, so I gave this episode a 4 out of 5 steaks.
Wait, what? 4 out of 5?
Sorry, 4.5. I didn't mean to say that.
Oh,
Sorry. I'm glad you
I was like,
caught that.
damn.
No,
That's
4.5.
pretty low for you.
Sorry, no, 4.5.
Okay. Okay. Better.
Because I think it was like obviously a turning point for the initiatives v Scoobies.
Mm-hmm.
So they're at odds. They're going to be at odds now. And also interesting, like obviously Riley. It'll be interesting to see where Riley's allegiances lie because while he knows it's wrong, I mean, there's a lot of like programming there. So that'll be interesting to see. So Riley's gonna have a lot of decisions to make and tough truths to face. Obviously, Buffy Riley had sex for the first time in this episode, so that's a big
Yep.
deal. Big theme for this too was it was said in the synopsis even like her friends are feeling left out.
Yeah.
Um,
Because she kind of sucks.
yeah, she's a little bit self-absorbed, as we knew. And
A
Adam was
lot of it.
revealed, which is a big deal.
Yeah.
Like Adam gets revealed and comes to life, or whatever we want to say,
Mhm.
is activated in this episode. So yeah, a lot of things happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I give it a 4.7. I know. I'm really digging this season.
Good.
A lot of the things that you said already, but I'm also looking at the relationship strengthening aspect. So like, well, you said Buffy and Riley, obviously, but also Spike and the Scoobies. I feel like
Mhm.
something is going on there. I'm enjoying
Mhm.
watching that. There's been progression with Anya and Xander, even like they seem like a real solid couple now, which
Mhm.
is kind of weird and funny to see. Tara and Willow, something's going on there. I'm curious to see how that plays out. Like, is Willow gonna tell people about her? Like, she going to get introduced to the Scoobies?
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so we'll see. So I'm curious to see how this goes. And then yeah, just the relationship between Riley and Professor Walsh to watch that deteriorate. And I'm guessing she's dead.
Well, yeah, I mean,
And I'm so curious to see what happens to the initiative now. So Riley knows that Professor Walsh tried to kill him. And then we have this Atom creature. That's I don't know what's gonna happen with that. Like, so I'm wondering if the initiative's gonna get shut down.
yeah, I don't know. I'll have to wait and
And
see.
like, is there somebody above Professor Walsh? Like, what we don't really know what's going on. There's a lot we don't know about the initiative too, still, I feel like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a government
that's
program.
true.
So
Yeah,
there
right.
has to be somebody above her.
Yeah, that's true.
Whether we ever meet them or not is another story. But yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. She didn't like create all this on
She's
her
like
own.
the overseer.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
head of the project, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Anyway.
right.
Yep.
Okay, so the next episode is called Goodbye, Iowa.
Okay, and that's where Riley's from, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's interesting.
So I mean, you could read into that title.
I have theories
What are your theories? I love to
that
hear.
he says goodbye to Iowa. I don't know. I don't know because he's already in California, so I don't know. Maybe
Okay.
he goes back to Iowa. I don't know.
Okay. But obviously, yeah, you've made the connection with Riley with the Goodbye,
Yeah,
Iowa.
I
So
did. Yeah,
that's good.
I'm kind of wondering if like Riley is gonna be. He's not gonna make it through this season. I mean, not. I don't think he's gonna die, but I don't think he's gonna be around forever
Okay.
in
Uh,
Buffy's universe.
what? Okay, so the question is so Buffy is wearing a Buffy wears wearing pajamas in this episode. What's the pattern on them? Because she kind of like actually like people have like they've remade these pajamas. I've seen them, and also she like talks about the pajamas. So it's not just like she's just wearing them and they're not like talked about or referenced. So what are the pattern on Buffy's pajamas?
I'm gonna go with cats.
Okay.
I have no idea. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
We will see.
Okay.
There might be a pajama party happening in the next episode.
Maybe we should do that. I don't have any
We should
cat
wear
pajamas.
pajamas for the next episode.
Okay, we can do that. Okay. I have cute pajamas that I can wear.
Yeah,
Sure.
we should. Yeah, we should do that. Okay, pajama party next episode. All right. So that wraps up season 4, episode 13, the Iron Team. Again, you can find us on all major podcast apps and YouTube and Instagram at One Girl in All the World Pod. You can email us at onegirlpod@gmail.com. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be back next week with season 4, episode 14, Goodbye, Iowa. See you real soon.
Bye.